Been a pattern for the last 2 years or so. Once these girls they say my fiance, it's a wrap on anything that the dude does is stupid, any kind of abuse, any.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Well, yeah, there's no sound. There was, I have to keep switching computers because and the settings are different on each one. I have to go in there and do it manually. Sorry about that. But anyway, as I was saying, for those of you who may not know what kind of show you dropped in on or you forgot, this show, people submit their questions in advance. They're put into this document. I read the questions and I give an answer off the top of my head. If you submitted a question that you hear, you finding your question showed up this week, please look, not only listen to me, but look in the chat as well, because sometimes the audience, the viewers, live in your area. So they have, more information about what's locally available than I do, or they have lived your experience and they might have some different insight than I do. Because, I haven't experienced everything. I've experienced a lot, but not everything. So sometimes people have some insight or some wisdom and some points to share with you to make your transition away from the problem a little bit easier. So please listen to me and then also, like I said, take a peek at the chat on YouTube. So let's get started with question number one. This young lady's 22 to 27 from Pueblo, Colorado. The summary of her issue is selling women a dream. I'm genuinely so confused and frustrated. Why do guys sell you a dream just to go silent a few days later? Girl, if I had to answer that, why people are stupid, I'd be a multi-bazillionaire. Everything starts off good with good conversations, mutual interest, real connection, and then suddenly it's crickets. For example, I matched with this guy on a swipey thing. Recently, we were texting and he asked to call me. The call went great. He was saying all the right things, talking about wanting to get to know me, making plans, etc. Then, like 2 days later, nothing, complete silence, because he spit, he shot his shot, and that's all he had. Then I met another guy off of that same swipey thing. We actually went out. We had a great time. We even kissed. He was telling me how attractive he found me, how he liked that our goals aligned, how he want, excuse me, he wanted to plan more dates. And again, all of a sudden, it's crickets. I guess I'm just tired of the inconsistency. If you just want to hook up or you're not actually looking for something real, just say that. I've never had a boyfriend before, and I'd really like to have a genuine connection with someone, but it feels almost impossible these days when people talk a big game and then ghost. Why do men act so interested just to vanish right after? Because they're not really interested. You put the right word here? Act. They acting interest because they're trying to get the draws. Okay. You are putting way too much stock on words. I can tell because you're focusing on what he said, that he was saying all the right things. Don't you think that a guy who's on them swipey things and is he halfway attractive, has been on many, 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 many dates with many, many, many different women, and he knows what the right things to say are to get you where he wants you to be. So I even though you're young, and probably don't really know the games yet. I'm gonna tell you this, 99% of men on them swipey things ain't shit. They ain't shit. They're all kind of social misfit, rejects, or they already got a woman and they just trying to get some extra action on the side. All in all, what does that mean? That they ain't shit. So, be very, very careful. I mean, if a guy, if it sounds too good to be true, 99% of the time it is. And so, I just want you to, like, if they start talking about the right things and all that stuff, don't really pay too much attention to that. I mean, it sounds nice, it's good, ha ha ha, kiki, you can have fun with it, but don't take it to heart. And that's what you're doing, which is why you wrote this letter. You're taking all of these things that they're doing and saying, seriously, like they're real, and they're not. It's part of what is, I guess the best term is, it's a seduction technique. Is that basically they're trying to get you to relax, think that they're on the same page with you, even though they haven't really said they are, and then to sleep with them so then they can move on to the next one. So they get to do that for free versus having to go pay somebody. See, so y'all need to be very careful with that kind of stuff. I'm like, as soon as they start talking, I can't hear shit. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't even speak your language because they just so full of it these days. Just terrible. Question number 2. This is a young lady, 22 to 27, from Toledo, Ohio. The male is 22 to 27 as well. Summary of issue. My boyfriend and I have been dating for just a month, and he's moving way too fast. How do I slow him down discreetly? Why do you have to be discreet about it? Why don't you just tell him you're going too fast, clown? Slow down, or I'm out. Why can't you just say that? They want your number and then ghost? Don't give it to them. Take his. Then you ghost him. Okay, let's see what's going on. 20. So she sounds like she's got herself caught up with one of those, what they call them, love bomber dudes. My boyfriend's 26. I am 22. We met online over a month ago, and we've only been in a relationship for less than a month. The problem is, this guy seems to be obsessed with me. I'm not even pretty. I guess he just likes my brain. We're already saying I love you, and I think we mean it, but it's just very soon. He spends so much money on me and gets mad at me when I try to pay, or at least split the bill. He bought me this super pretty ring that he's going to give me on Christmas with our birthstones. And I saw the receipt and it was $850. Mind you, he is not rich. He makes decent money, but it's not enough to be dropping that much for some woman he just met. He says that I'm worth it, but I'm really not. And then she puts like a crying face. I know I do love him. I'm just nervous that it won't work out and it'll crush his heart. But he'll have spent all that money for nothing. But if I tell him to slow down, he'll get sad and think I don't really love him. How do I get him to calm down? Do you think it'll happen naturally as he gets used to me? I think, this is something that a lot of people disagree with me about over the years. I strongly believe this. Women are in charge of the pace of the relationship. He's not going to do nothing that you don't let him do. Okay. So if you say, I'm not comfortable with you spending this much money on me when we've only known each other for a month, please take that back and get something that's more reasonable that I'll feel comfortable accepting from you. Okay? Because this is a gift like you give your wife or something. We've only known each other a month. You say things like that to him to get him to see that. I mean, although it's nice and it's great that he, if it's true that he feels that way about you, or whatever. But you know, my dad always said that men know, like right away. They know when they meet the one. They just know. So I mean, maybe it's something like that. But then he's just coming on too strong. I mean, he doesn't understand that you got to pace yourself in these situations because you risk scaring a woman off with your intensity and your need and your just single-minded focus on her. You can't do that. You can't treat them like that because it's just to think you're some kind of weird stalker or something. You got to just pace yourself. So you tell him things like that, like, I need you to slow your pace and just let me get comfortable and grow into this. I just feel like you're pressuring me, and that's not making me feel very comfortable and relaxed. I want you to slow things down. But the main thing is tell him what I said about that gift. Yeah, he's rushing, poor thing, in his anxiety. And that's the sign of a man who's inexperienced, because he likes her and he just gonna go whole hog, and that's fine, but you have to temper that with some level of maturity and understanding that not everyone is going on your pace. So what he's not doing is looking at her and then pacing himself based on her responses. But again, this is a sign of someone who doesn't really have much experience in relationships or with women, and so he doesn't know that. The way boys grow up these days without a daddy around, they don't have anybody to tell them that either. So they just mess up. Either they put too much space between it, and they treat the woman like they don't really give a shit, and then she gets upset and leaves, or they come on too strong and they scare her and make her want to run away because he just like globs onto her and sucks all the air out of her existence. She never gets a chance to miss him or think about him or fantasize about him because he's always in her face and he's always, like pressuring her. So I've seen it, like that tend to be the when the guys don't have much experience, it's always one or the other. They don't know what to do. Question number 3. This is a female, 28 to 34, from Santa Ana, California. The male is 35 to 41. Summary of issue. My husband asked if our son was his and asked for a paternity test. My husband and I have been together for 10 years and married for 3. We have 2 children, a 2-year-old and a 7-month-old. Our first child looks a lot like my husband, but my second looks more like me. But you can tell our kids are related because they have similar features. My husband recently dropped on me that it's been bothering him that our son has blue eyes. He has brown eyes, but I have blue eyes. And now he thinks it's really unlikely for him to have a child with blue eyes, as he's Hispanic with no known relatives that have blue eyes. He is also suspicious of the timing of our son's conception, as our second was a complete surprise, but we were only using C's after I had our first child. He then asked if our son was his and if I mind if he gets a paternity test done. Deb, I'm so hurt and I just blindsided by this. I haven't cheated on my husband and our son is definitely his. I work for home. I don't have any guy friends. I only go out to hang out with friends at the grocery shop or buy things for the kids. I just don't understand why he thinks I would do this, and I've never been unfaithful. I mentioned marriage counseling to him so that we might try this, but I'm just so confused and sad and hurt. We've been fighting off and on, and it's been stressful as having 2 children so close together is, but we otherwise don't have any huge problems in the relationship. What should I do? I'm going to say this. Your husband, and I don't mean this to be insulting, but this is when ignorance comes into play, when people don't understand about dominant and recessive genes. So this is someone who never took, these kind of courses in school and high school and stuff, because otherwise he would know that. If he looks at his wife and then he looks in the mirror, he can see that there's a 50% chance that his kid would have blue eyes. Okay. This is sad. So what I'm gonna suggest to you, rather than you call your husband stupid, uneducated, and just, stupid, but don't do that. Instead, what you're gonna do is go and say, you know what? That's a good idea. I want you to have let's get a paternity test. We need to get that. Because I want you to feel assured. And then while we're there, I would like the doctor to give you a mini lecture on genetics and recessive and dominant genes so that you understand if we have any more children and somebody else comes out with blue eyes, what that means and how that happened. Right? Because he just doesn't know. He doesn't understand. And this is, like I said, a problem when you have people who are ignorant, don't know nothing, come up with stupid ideas. He probably listened to his dumbass friends or some woman in his family. But yeah, take him over there. Don't get mad about it. There's nothing to get mad about. You just got a man who's dumb, and so you got to work with what you got. If you got somebody who's dumb and don't know nothing, you got to, guide him along to educate him and stuff so he can understand what's happening and why it happened. And then he'll be all right. But he need that DNA test and then he'll shut his mouth up. It said you putting way too much on it. See all this fighting and angst and emotion you put into this. You could have went and got the DNA test 15 times and all of that. It don't even make any sense to go through all these changes that you're going through. Speaking of change, okay, I gotta tell you, I got a neighbor. Okay, we got we park in the same like two stall garage thing. There was one door, and so we both park in there. She got a big old SUV. And I have a Honda Accord. So she got it. I started noticing my mirror, my driver's side mirror has been folded in. So I'm folding, okay, those mirrors aren't designed to be folded in like that every day. They're designed to stay steady for years and years and years at highway speeds. That means you don't be fucking with it every day, right? That mechanism is not meant to be fooled with like that. So now, I'm looking at, I'm getting mad now because, like, okay, keep your mitts off my damn car. So I leave her a note. I used to have their number like from way back when I had the stroke, but I don't know where that phone is, and I'm like on my third phone by then. So I left them a note, and so she sends me a text talking about, well, there's no need to send a note because you have my phone number. I said I'd have your phone number now, but I lost that phone out even years ago. And so then she's like, she want to say, well, there's no room and this and that. And I said, I park very close to the wall so that there's maximum space. Like even when my mirror is open, there's still a good 15 inches of space between your car and my vehicle. So what you need to do if you need more space, don't be trying to get these 4 inches of stuff that's already in my allotted, parking area. You move your car. And so she didn't like that at all. Well, I've seen scratches on my car. I said, well, I didn't put them there. Well, they're silver. I said, well, I don't know what to tell you. It wasn't my car because I'm not fucking up my car to bumping it into yours. So it's definitely not mine. And so then, she going back. So I said, okay, well, let me just tell you this. See, I'm talking to her just like this because she's young and stupid. Like, I'm going to tell you this. I'm not going to be arguing with you about this. You're a grown woman. You see the line here. Everything on that side of the line is mine, and everything on this side of the line is yours. I don't want you coming on my side, touching my car ever again. So, whatever you and your man need to do to figure out what to do, how to park your car in your parking spot, your spot, part of the parking spot, that's what you need to do. You figure it out, okay? Because I'm just telling you, I don't really care what you do and how you do it. I'm just telling you, don't you touch my car anymore, and don't you put no dents or scratches or paint on my car. So that means don't touch my car, don't come in my part of the garage. And then she just looked at me because I'm like, I'm not gonna be arguing with you about it. She wants to talk about, well, what about you? And I didn't know how. Yeah, I never brought it up, and this and that. I'm like, what does that have to do with you folding my mirror in? I'm looking at her like this, like, okay, I wonder if she argues like that with her husband. No wonder you guys look so beat down. Cause see, I couldn't have a wife like that. I'd be cussing that bitch out. Like you fat funky hoe. I don't know what to tell cause she big. She big. I'm like, that's why she need them extra 4 inches to squeeze all that meat. Well, she obviously don't know how to park, but she better fucking figure it out. And she was talking about, well, there's a water hose, this and that, blah, blah. I'm like, don't have shit to do with me. Just stay off my side of the garage. I just all this, it's like yeah, 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 like Charlie Brown. Wah, wah, wah. I don't have nothing to do with what I told you. Don't touch my car. That's all I care about. Keep your hands off my car, and you figure the rest out. Now I went on upstairs, and that was that. See, I don't be trying to be, arguing with people going off and fighting and all. We're not gonna do all that. We just gonna you gonna do it my way. If you fuck with my car again, then I'm gonna slap you with a lawsuit. Because I know that has to be damaging that mechanism. My car is new. I think that sucker just now got 10,000 miles on it. Because I don't really drive that much. Everything around here, I could walk or I could just order DoorDash or Instacart. I just don't like going in stores. The crowds just don't work for me. So let's move on to question number 4. This is a female, 22 to 27, from Bakersfield, California. So, an issue: is this a new trend? Are men purposely tapping out? Why do I feel like every guy I match with on an app are chatting for over a week with no mention of a date or meeting up? Or my number just constantly responding to my messages? These are men who have looking for a long-term relationship on their profiles. So they have that there, but does that mean it's true? Ugh, I'm just so tired of this chatting and then it dying down with someone that wouldn't stop chatting. First of all, you in the 22 to 27 age group, they want to text you to death at that age, right? Even older now, people want to text you to death. Why do you ladies allow them to do that? If a man doesn't want to have a conversation with you face to face, fuck that motherfucker. I mean, it's who dates like that? Why do you let them get away with that? That's such a low effort way of involving themselves with you. It's just so trifling. And it doesn't mean anything. It's like entertainment for them to be texting you. It's not building anything. You can't have build a strong relationship with somebody via text. You have to be able to see their expressions and hear the nuances in their voice, see their breathing changes, how their expression changes. All of those like visual cues to communication take place when you're first face to face. It doesn't happen over text. It can't even really happen when you do like Zoom and all that kind of stuff because people are stiff, you know. You have to be able to see someone in a relaxed state and having a good conversation. So stop letting them do this. Stop dating like this. You can see that it's not working, right? But you're gonna keep doing it anyway. So the guy wants to text you, talk to him for one day, and then say, "Well, when are we gonna meet?" You don't have to ask about. You just say, "When are we gonna meet?" And see what he says. Say if he says, "Oh, well, let's keep chatting," say, "No, I'm not gonna do that. It's nice meeting you," and then you block him. See, like I said a little while ago, women are in charge of the pace of the relationship. What you guys aren't doing though is taking charge of your lives. You letting these ragamuffin men that you meet online run your whole life and your whole dating plans and your happiness and everything else. If a dude is not giving you what you want, then fuck him. Just flip him off. Just next him. Why do you have to go through all these changes over and over and doing the same stupid thing? We chatting for over a week. Who does that? I wish somebody would be trying to chat me up for a week. I'd be like, nigga, please. Question number 5. This is a male, 22 to 27, from Pompano Beach, California. So I have an issue. I went on a date and I didn't find her attractive. Am I a jerk? I'm a 22-year-old guy and recently went on a date after we matched up on an app. We had been talking for a couple of days and she seemed cute from the photos. Once getting to know her, we seemed to be compatible and hit it off pretty good. When we met, I knew it probably wasn't going to want to see her again. It may be superficial, but I just can't be with someone I'm not attracted to. She was heavier than I thought she would be from her pictures. They were kind of old. I simply went out with her and it was nice meal, paid for everything and eh, wait, went out with her and was nice. I paid for the meal and everything. Okay, that's what he said. I wanted to think it over, and after getting home, I decided to message her. I didn't think dating was right for me at the current moment. Am I an asshat for this? Was there a better way for me to handle this situation? For context, I work out and I'm a tall, thinner guy. Well, you young and you dumb. So see, you said that you were compatible with the woman, but you got stuck on stupid when it came to, you know, the fact that she had a couple of extra pounds going on. The kind of thing that, you know, I mean, yeah, you do kind of have to be attracted to them, but attraction is the kind of thing you're looking for it to happen instantly. Like, as soon as you lay eyes on her, that's what you wanna be attracted to her. That's not your maturity talking, that's your dick talking. So, if you're gonna walk around choosing one with your dick, well, then, yeah, you're gonna be constantly having some drama because, you choosing with something superficial. And what happens if she gets into a car accident? What happens if she gets pregnant and has a baby and she gains weight? What happens if she gets sick and she loses a lot of weight? See, that's not love. That's just sexual attraction. And there's nothing wrong with that. You can do that at 22, 25, and 50. I mean, it doesn't matter. That part is not what I'm talking about. But what I'm saying is, if you said that you guys were compatible and you were really looking forward to meeting her, that means you felt something on a different level. You felt an emotional connection to this girl, but you squelched it the second you laid eyes on her because your dick didn't get hard. So, you as a young man have to figure out what's more important to you. Is it going to be that where you just fuck around endlessly for the rest of your life, picking a woman with your dick? Or are you going to look for a woman who can definitely satisfy you in bed, but you're not going, you have to think about her and other things about her that you like. Yeah, I mean, I'm just being honest. That's just how young dudes are. And I just want them to understand, then they come crying to me about, well, she's stupid. She spends all my money. She doesn't want to work. She must just sit in the house and she makes me take care of. Yeah, but she makes your dick hard, right? Your dick is just bone or stiff. So that's what you picked. And that's why you picked her. And now you're miserable. And the only thing that you do have that you enjoy out of that is your dick. So you have to think about, you paying all this money. She's not supportive. Your family can't stand her. Your friends can't stand her. She's loud. She's boisterous. She don't do shit. She smokes a bunch of drugs. I mean, there's all these problems that these guys write about because of the women that they picked with their dick. But they're young and stupid, and so they just got to go through that phase, I guess. Because the next time he sees her, she lose some weight. She gonna go to the gym and she gonna be fly as fuck, and he gonna be sad that he missed out on someone that he had a strong emotional connection to. 'Cause that's hard to find. That is seriously hard. That is really hard to find. But he, like I said, he young and he dumb, and so he don't know. He hasn't gotten that experience yet. Yep, it's sad but true. Yep, she gonna be with somebody else and be grinning like a Cheshire cat, and he gonna be jealous and sad. So let's move on. You know, he's a tall, skinny, and stupid guy. Question number 6. This is a female, 20 to 34, from Palmdale, California. So, an issue. I ended my engagement after discovering that my fiance secretly gambled hundreds of thousands of dollars and lost over $25,000. Okay. Where he get hundreds of thousands of dollars from? Damn, I ended my engagement after discovering that he gambled thousands and lost 25 grand in 3 years, but 16,000 of it has been in the last 10 months. It's been 2 weeks. I'm getting my own place and he's, quote, heartbroken, end quote. I spent the last 2 years building a life I'm proud of. I own 2 businesses and I've worked 12 to 18-hour days grinding, planning, and building a future off a legit goodwill income. No real money, just 1,000 here and there to obtain all my business goals. I scraped by, maxed out credit cards, took out high interest loans, took out 25% cut on all my sales until I can get paid back. Meanwhile, the man I was planning to marry, he didn't want to be a part of it. He was emotionally unavailable, never present in my world, never asking about my goals or wanting to learn the business or grow with me. We fought constantly because I felt alone in the relationship. Okay, well, you might have it together in some other aspects, but you fucked up and stupid when it comes to picking a man. Okay. We fought constantly. I felt alone in the relationship emotionally and mentally. He's always had energy for video games until 3 or 4 in the morning, sleeping in, and Pokemon. He told me since I can't help him at his corporate job, why would he want to be a part of this business? He never financially helped me with anything for my business, but I was okay with it because I respected him and I knew he worked his butt off for his salary. All I wanted was for him to be more present. And every time I would ask for that, he would flip out. There was never money for anything meaningful unless I came up with it and forced it to be spent. Car down payments, I paid. Furniture, I paid. Home upgrades, I paid. Trips and holidays, I paid 75% of it all. I poured into him and his world because I believed we were creating a future together. Where did his behavior show you that? Where was what he was doing showing you a future? Okay. I begged him. Oh, I invested thousands and thousands of dollars into a property that was never in my name. See what I mean? Just dumber and dumber as we keep going. I begged him to ask me to be his wife. I showed up for him in countless ways. Every single Christmas or birthday party, I paid for all the gifts for his family. I threw parties that paid for lessons for his nieces. I did it because I loved him and I wanted to be a part of his family so bad. However, looking back, he never made a real effort with mine. I wanted to be with him. I wanted to make him love me as much as I loved him. But when it came to me, there was no shopping trips where he bought me whatever I wanted, no birthday gifts, no feeling special. If I asked him to go through the drive-through of Starbucks, he would not for me because he was always in a hurry to go home. Okay, so blah 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 all this stuff. So then I was getting ready to put his name on all of my businesses. I was ready for him to be on all my accounts. I was completely ready to be his wife. Wow, you was hella stupid. Then I found out why. He was secretly gambling. Not a little, not once, almost $200,000 this year alone circulated through his account with winnings and losses. And he lied every single time I asked him about it. Wow. I told him if I found you gambling, I'd leave. I said it multiple times over the course of the last year. So he knew you was just selling wolf tickets. Okay. So well, wait, she found, what did she say? This sounds important. My fiance would promise to my face that he wasn't doing gambling anymore, but 6 hours after his last hit, I packed into his email, changed the password to his gambling site, and found it all right there. I was in shock. I left the same day. I moved to my mom's and I canceled the wedding, ended the relationship. It's been 2 weeks and I feel awful that I left something that was supposed to be mine forever. Now signing a lease and getting my own place. And he shows up crying, saying losing me is his quote wake up call, telling me it's too soon and that I'm abandoning him and that he needs me, that he's heartbroken that I'm really moving out. He told me if I get my own place, I'll never be allowed back into his life again. Good riddance. So here's my question to you. About time. Is moving into my own place 2 weeks after ending our engagement too soon? We're together for almost 8 years. He makes me feel so guilty for leaving that I feel like I'm a bad person for not being there. However, he got to keep all the furniture that I bought, all the investments I made into his house, all the upgrades I put into it, and now I'm starting over. Well, you good, 'cause I'd have burned that shit down. I got me a crew of Guido and them to come in there and rip the pipes and stuff out. You know how they do, because you can sell them pipes at copper and stuff. It's valuable. But you're not gonna benefit from shit that I paid for. I'm getting my money back out this bitch some one kind of way or another. Yeah, I'm going to get all my furniture and sell that shit on eBay or wherever they Facebook Marketplace. I don't care where it is. I'm getting my money back. You're not gonna have it. You're gonna be sleeping in that house that you want so bad, but you're gonna be on the floor in a sleeping bag. You're not gonna be sleeping on my shit. I don't know. She got all these businesses and all this kind of stuff, and then she's sitting up here talking about she gonna put this bum who hasn't done shit for her on her properties and on her bank accounts because she just want to be a wife so bad. I don't understand what the delirium is that so many women have about that title. It's just unbelievable. So you want to know, is it too soon? No. This is something that you should have done years ago, not 2 weeks after you broke up engaged. You should have never gotten engaged to him. All this begging that you did for him to want to marry you and stuff, to beg him to marry you, you should have never done that. It shows you have no pride, no self-esteem at all. Don't beg a man to marry you. What the fuck? And paying for his nieces and shit. Where are their parents? You're not even related to him. You're not even married to him. There's no reason for you to come out your pocket to do anything with his family or him either. So, I don't know what it is you're asking me for. I mean, this looks like the only question you said, is it too soon? And my answer is no. It's too late. You should have done this years ago. Question number 7. This is a female, 20 to 34, age group from Amarillo, Texas. That letter made me tired. Summary issue. I snapped at my friend after she joked that I'm only engaged because my fiance settled. Wow. That's kind of that's kind of rough. I'm 30 and I got engaged 3 months ago to my 32-year-old fiance. My best friend, let's call her Jenna, she is 29, has always been a little competitive, but lately she's been extra weird about my engagement. Last weekend, a few of us went out for drinks, and one of our mutual friends asked how wedding planning was going. I was mid sentence when Jenna interrupted and said, I still can't believe he proposed. Honestly, I thought he was way out of your league. And that's what you're supposed to say. Well, who told you that you could think? You're sitting up here, you need to be quiet because every time you open your mouth, you show how stupid you are. Shut up, Jenna. Just shut up. So then she says, everyone laughed awkwardly, and I tried to laugh too, but I felt humiliated. No, 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 no. You didn't handle that right. You're supposed to make her feel humiliated. Then she added, I mean, no shade. You got lucky. Some guys settle down once they realize perfection isn't real. Well, look at that. You don't even have that. So what you trying to say? Where's your settle? Are you sitting over there all, so that's, and like I said, these are not things I would normally say because I don't believe in this kind of stuff. But when you're trying to hurt somebody's feelings and crush them, you know that they believe those kind of things, that's when you whip them out and you lob them like you dealing, a deck of cards. Start saying, "Well, bitch, I don't see no line of men at your door. You sitting up there, I don't see no ring on your hand, and I don't see no man chasing after you. So the one who really need to be shut up and talking about somebody settled is they. I mean, you're not even worthy of somebody settling for you. So you really don't need to talk." Stuff like that. Plus you know her, so you probably had some other material that you could pull out and hurt her feelings with. But I can't stand them catty little bitches like that, jealous as hell, and then gonna be trying to put some, throw shade. So then she says, I froze. Later that night, I told her the comment was mean, and she rolled her eyes and said I was, quote, too sensitive and can't take a joke. See, since nobody was laughing, your jokes wasn't funny, Jenna. I told her that real friends don't make jokes that sting like that, and I left. She's been telling people I ruined the night over nothing, end quote. Was I doing too much to call her out and leave? No, I don't think you did enough. You were supposed to clown her until she left in tears. That's what you're supposed to do. And all your friends looked at you with the Pikachu face because they didn't know you had that kind of level of savagery in you. That's what you were supposed to do. One thing you are not supposed to do is freeze and get hurt and all that kind of stuff. If somebody tries to hurt you, you don't get hurt. You hurt them. Because when people start to feel like it's okay to hurt somebody else's feelings, that means that that's a feeling that they're okay with. They've accepted that feeling. So you're supposed to oblige them and give it to them. Give it to them. Just give them all of it. Right? You know that face I'm talking about, that Pikachu makes? Yeah, that face. I don't know. See, I just cannot with these kind of bitches. I just can't do it. Can't do it. I think you didn't really handle that well, so that you've left. See, you're supposed to handle it there in front of everyone, so that the story that went out would be your story. Now she's flipping the script on you because you didn't say anything, and she's got the balls in her court. So she's gonna flip the script and tell everybody that you're the one who's wrong, and because you haven't said anything. So being quiet like that is not the way to handle bitches like this. And then what you're supposed to do when she at this thing, the wedding planning say, and by the way, your bitch ass is not coming to my wedding either. Don't even ask. I don't want to see you. As a matter of fact, come on, let's honey, whatever honey's name is, let's go. I don't want to be around this trifling hoe no more. Not today and not ever. Yeah, I mean, you know what I mean? You're supposed to clown her. You don't just take it. I don't understand this willingness to just let people like dog you like that. And you don't say nothing. You don't fight back. You don't light her ass up. Light her up like ass like a Christmas tree. Sitting up there trying to be a bitch. Oh, bitch, let me show you how to do it because you just a rank amateur. You don't even know what's happening here. Exactly. Exactly. You think about that, Michelle. This is just really pissing me off. Question number 8. She's 22 to 27 from Ann Arbor, Michigan. Summary issue: help. My boyfriend wants to sleep with other people. Let him. He's not your husband. Why are you tripping? Just say, okay. I mean, I'm not saying you can't do it. You can definitely do that. But you'll just be doing it, not in a relationship with me. So, okay, bye. Ta-ta. Have fun. That's how you do that. You always maintain your dignity, ladies. You don't let men clown you like this. The second he started talking about dating other people, sleep with other people rather, they be talking about these threesomes and all this old weird shit here. That's disrespect. He's no longer respecting you. What do you do when you have a man that you allegedly love who's not respect you? You end the relationship on the spot. There should be never no consideration about it, no thought, no tears, no questions, no self doubt, no what did I do wrong? Why is he like? None of that should be going through your head. What you should be looking at is the fact that, I was really fooled. I thought this fool had some sense. And he's sitting up here going to be trying to treat me like this. Oh, hell to the no. Channel your inner Whitney Houston. And then you just say, well, that's really interesting. Thank you for sharing that with me. I appreciate your candor. But what I'm going to say is that's not the kind of relationship that I want. So this sounds like this is where we part ways. So, and I would never want to hold you back from doing what it is that you want to do that's going to make you happy. That's what love is. I want you to be happy. But your black ass is going to be happy over there, motherfucker. You're not going to be happy with me because I'm not doing this shit here and we're not having this bullshit in this relationship. So see, you go from calm to a savage, and you go back to being calm. So yeah, I'll stop by and pick up my little things. Matter of fact, just mail that shit FedEx. Matter of fact, I don't even need that shit. Just throw that shit out. And we're done here, sir. Boop, deuces. Well, all of those things are me, and it just depends on the situation, girl. It just depends on the situation. Sometimes I don't even go savage. I just be looking at people like they crazy, and then my expression, I think, you know, it communicates that, and then they just look embarrassed. But then, like a man tell me some bullshit like that, no, son, we ain't doing that. I'd be surprised at how many women go for that shit. I tried it. I wanted him to be happy. Psst. And what about you? Now you look in the mirror and you can't stand yourself because you compromise your values and your morals and all your boundaries went out the window over some motherfucking man. You was tripping. You was tripping big time. You don't ever do things like that. The only person you're hurting is yourself. You want to do some trick shit like that, let them go pay somebody. And women in that line of business, they'd be happy. You give them $1,000, they'll do whatever you want to for a couple of hours. That's what he needs to do. So let's see what this dude's been talking about. My boyfriend and I have been together for over 2 years. We've tossed around the idea of having a threesome multiple times. I've always said that it's a possibility, but at the time I'm not really comfortable with it. But last night he started asking again. See, you're supposed to get rid of him what he did the first time. He wants me to find a girl that I'm friends with to sleep with us. So somebody that you know, he wants you to put yourself in that kind of compromising situation. Wow. I don't really feel comfortable asking my friends to do this simply because I feel like it's a really intimate thing, and that aspect shouldn't be shared with people that are close to us in that detail. I'm also a little insecure about myself, so I don't like the thoughts of him sleeping with other girls. He kept persisting last night, saying that it's not a big deal. He could sleep with other people and he'd still come home to me. However, I just don't feel comfortable doing that. Finally, like mid argument, I got upset and told him to just go sleep with whoever he wants, and it didn't matter. He took my statement literally and kept making sure that I really don't care and was okay with it. I'm really nervous because I generally think that he believes it's okay. I'm not sure what to do at this point. You break up with him. Why is this even a question? My friend suggested I have a conversation with him. I apologize for any misunderstandings I may have given and explained very clearly that I'm not comfortable involving anyone else in this relationship. If he doesn't like that, he should just leave. He started to backtrack and was really upset at first, saying that I was overreacting. And it wasn't like he was actually going to sleep with anyone without my consent and knowledge. However, literally 30 minutes later, he asked me again. I gave the idea of bringing another guy first just to see how he would like it. It didn't make a difference. Wow. I mean, he don't give a shit about you. Do you not understand what's going on here? This man does not care a lick about you. I feel like I'm overreacting a bit because it doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal to him. So why is it such a big deal to me? Am I just that insecure where I can't stand the thought of him being with another person? What should I do? You should grow a fucking spine. You should understand, you should have some values and morals and boundaries for yourself. You should not be questioning your very existence because of some stuff that this fool said to you. Like, am I that insecure? No, you know what kind of relationship you want, and this is not it. So how do you figure? Why are you labeling yourself insecure because of that? Y'all help me. Michelle, typing that oof. Yeah, I just don't understand how you can turn this around and make it seem like there's something wrong with you because he want to do some freak shit and involve you in it and your friends in it. So what he's trying to, he's disrespecting you, he's disrespecting your relationship, and he's disrespecting your friends by even having those thoughts. He's sitting around fantasizing about your girlfriends. I mean, I'm not understanding. Why don't you understand what's going on here? And you're focusing on, saying, "Well, I'm not comfortable with it," and all this kind of stuff here. But think about what this man. See, men talk about what they're thinking about. This is what he's thinking about. He's thinking about it so much he keeps talking about it a lot, and yet you're kind of running away from it. Well, just do what you want. You're not dealing with the issue, which is this is not the man for you. So why are you hanging on to this relationship so bad? Okay, you need to grow a spine, girlfriend. Just tell him, you know what, I did mean what I said, but I want you to understand you're not gonna be in a relationship with me while you do that. So fuck you very much. Get the fuck out of my house. I take your shit and get out. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know. I wish I could just impart some self-esteem in these young girls. Some sense that they're good enough, just as they are. Because that seems to be the core of what the problem is here. They don't feel like they're good enough. They're not worthy enough. They're not, pretty enough. They're not smart enough. They don't have enough value to warrant making demands on men and telling men no and telling them that I don't want to do that and I'm not going to do that and you're going to get out. They don't seem to have that kind of courage. It's like once they get into a relationship, they're more focused on, I don't want to lose him than they are in the respect and the love and the devotion and the proper treatment that this man is supposed to be showing them. They don't think about that at all. They just think about if he's there or not. You know, I don't want to lose him. I don't even know what to say. Let's move on though. Question number 9. Well, I try to figure out what to say. Young lady, 28 to 34 from Atlanta. Summary of issue. Why is it easier to make up lies to reject someone than just telling the truth? Because some people are wacky. Quote, I'm just so busy right now. And quote, I'm not ready for a relationship. And quote, I really like you and I want to keep seeing you, but I'm just not in that headspace. End quote. And quote, I can't do a long distance relationship, blah, blah, blah. Why is it easier to say these things rather than just telling the truth? I'm not into you. Because someone who is into you hearing these things will go past these excuses. You're busy? Okay, fine. I'll come over at the end of your workday and bring food and we can just watch TV and go to sleep. You don't want a long distance relationship? Well, that's fine, but I'm going to come see you regularly and we'll pretend to be in a relationship when we are together. You don't want a relationship right now? Okay, then we can still do all the things people in relationships do, but without the commitment. But people who say these things don't really mean it. They mean, I'm not into you and I don't want to see you. Why is it easier to make up these lies? What about when the person goes past your excuses and you keep doubling down on your lies for weeks? Why is that easier than just saying, hey, I think you're great, but I don't think we get along in the way I would like. I wish you the best. Especially after spending significant time with the person, weeks or months, sleepovers, nook, just to make up excuses. Just be honest. Well, let's talk about this for a minute. You're 28 to 34 and you're from Atlanta. And you think that somebody that you just met and don't have no kind of commitment with, ain't related to, nothing really going on there, owes you all this kind of honesty. I want to know who the fuck you think you are that somebody owes you shit. People are going to do what works for them without any regard for how you like it or not, because they really don't give a fuck if you like it or not. So you having all this angst about it, what they should do this and why not do this? Because they don't fucking want to. That's the answer. And you're gonna deal with it. And you're gonna like it. Well, you don't have to like it, but you're still gonna deal with it anyway, whether you like it or not. So you may as well like it. Because I'm trying to give you a different perspective. I want you to reframe this. I want you to understand why when you look at thousands of people on the street, wonder what's going on in your head that you think those people owe you honesty. What the hell are you thinking? If they don't want to be bothered with you, you as a mature woman in the 28 to 34 age group, and you hearing these kind of excuses, you already know what time it is. Just like if you apply for a job and they say, well, we decided to go in a different direction. We're going to uh I don't know, some different opportunity or whatever they come up with these fantabulous lies that they be telling. But I mean, to me, it's the same thing. We don't want your fucking ass up in here. So we're gonna get somebody else. They just use different words to say the same thing. It's the same thing as this. You don't go complaining about employers, right? You get denied a credit card. Well, you just something about what you did. You didn't cut the mustard. You don't go writing them and complaining about that, do you? Are you mad at them because they weren't honest the way you want to be honest? They're gonna say, well, you know, you fucked up because that situation that you had some years ago where you paid late 15 times, well, and got that eviction. That's why we ain't giving your ass shit. That would be honest, but that's not what they say. They say, you know, your score doesn't quite meet our standards. Now they, you know, it's vague, it's general, just like, you know, I'm not ready for a relationship. I'm just not in that headspace. I'm just so busy right now. It's the same thing. You know what I mean? I don't understand that. Is it me? Because I just don't understand how people be thinking. She's looking at, you know, like these people owe her something. And then you getting the same kind of bullshit rejections every time you apply for a credit card and don't get it. You apply for an auto loan, you don't get it. You apply for a mortgage, you don't get it. You apply for a job, you don't get it. I mean, every single time somebody gives you an excuse like that, it's the same thing, the soft rejection. It's considered polite in most of the world, except for you in Atlanta, Georgia. So, you know, what just gonna tell you, just gonna say nobody gonna be honest with you. It's too risky for them and they don't get no benefit out of it. So why should they do it? You know, people do things that benefit them. It does not benefit them to be honest to you because they don't give a shit about you and they don't know you and want you to eat shit and die. And so, but rather than tell you that, they just say, you know, I'm just so busy right now. Just deal with it. Yeah, the most women would do. I mean, because people, you know, women are taught to be nice, right? We taught. I mean, it's trained into us like before we can even talk. You know, they start telling you, "Oh, be nice, baby." You know, you can't even talk yet. You glue, 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 glue. Hey, oh, be a nice baby. Be nice to Grammy. Just be nice to mommy. You know, stop crying. So we start hearing that like in infancy to be nice. So by the time women are older, they do try to be nice. They don't want to necessarily purposely hurt somebody's feelings. This one over here don't give a shit about that. Better thee than me has always been my motto. So I'd rather be your feelings be hurt than mine. But you know, most women don't do that. They think, well, you know, and they be all gentle and soft with it and stuff. And so the dudes, you know, feel empowered and well, you know, they want to keep trying to keep matching you. Right? You say, oh, you know, I don't really, you know, this. Oh, you can have friends, right? You know, you can. And so, see, they don't stop until you become a savage and rip their head off, and then they leave you the fuck alone. But as long as you know, with most of these dudes, if you try to be nice and you be soft with them, they don't take. They ain't trying to hear that because that sounds like a no. Maybe it might be a no, and they ain't trying to hear no. So what you have to do is just tell them flatly with no kind of hesitation or at all, no softness. No, motherfucker, it's not gonna fucking happen. Not in this lifetime or your next 72. I'm not going to be with you. It's not going to happen. So just accept it. Get out of my face. Okay. So let's move on. Number 10, question 10. Female 28 to 34 from Plano, Texas. The male's 35 to 41. So I have an issue. How can I handle my fiance's lack of urgency over getting medical care? I've been with him for 3 years. We are incredibly different backgrounds. I grew up in a privileged position where my parents always had medical care, always forced me to stay on top of things, go to the dentist every 6 months, etc. My fiance had a very different life. His parents never took him to the dentist, would only take him to the doctor if he was bleeding out. Damn. He is an incredibly hard worker, but his work has never provided medical versus my corporate jobs that always have. I think these differences are important to consider before judging this situation. He's 35 to 41, so whatever happened to him in childhood is irrelevant. At 35, he's on the downstroke to half his life. He's middle-aged now, and you trying to give him some credit for some shit that happened when he was a kid? Don't do that here. I never give men excuses. He's perfectly capable. Even if he did have no insurance as a kid, you should want it now. You should want things to like life to be better, not keep going along with the same bullshit that you've been suffering with for 20 or 30 years before that. That's how normal people do. They strive for better. They strive for the next level. They want improvements in their situation in their life. They don't go and settle for some, you know, mundane ridiculousness. Like you trying to advocate for him that I give him credit for that. I'm not going to do that. If anything, that makes him seem more stupid. And you dumb as hell for trying to co-sign on that shit. Instead of putting both feet in his ass and saying, motherfucker, you didn't have insurance before, you better get some now. Your ass is old. This don't make any damn sense. Yeah, you gotta do better. You make a decision as an adult. Okay, my life has been fucked up for the last 25 years, but I don't want it to be like that anymore. Let's do this other thing over here. It's that simple. Okay. So she making excuses. Okay, so we already know this. This ain't gonna work. I realized that my partner is not on top of long-term medical care. We first got together, he had no insurance, and a year in, I got him on my insurance. He was so enthusiastic about all the care he could get. He then had to take over a business, and then his father passed away, and he went through depression and grief. He did not seek any care for ongoing issues during his time, but I was very understanding of that. Now things have calmed down in every way, but he will not get care and I'm starting to really get concerned. He needs to have a colonoscopy. His father died of colon cancer, but it still isn't scheduled. This one I totally understand, but I can't imagine the fear that he must be feeling. He just needs to do it. He's been telling me for years that he needs to get his testosterone checked. He has been depressed, unmotivated physically, and has had a low libido for most of our relationship. He kept promising to get the blood test and even got it ordered, but it's been weeks now and he won't go. I'm not even pushing him on to get on TRT. That's a huge personal decision. I just want him to get the blood test and at least speak with a doctor. It's affected our lives a lot. You're not married to him, so it don't need to affect your life. He's really a boyfriend. So you just move on to somebody who takes better care of themselves and who doesn't have a history of colon cancer. He also promised to make a dental appointment, but he won't do that either. He has several teeth in really bad shape in the back of his mouth and has had tooth infections. He's scared to go and will likely need work done. But knowing how dangerous tooth infections are, I'm getting really nervous about his reluctance. All these years, I've thought these were external reasons why he hasn't taken care of his stuff, but now I'm realizing even in good condition, he's not proactive about really important parts of his health. I really don't know what role I play here. As the man I'm starting a life with, I need him to take care of himself and also need to have integrity when he says he will do something. But it's not my body, and I don't want him to feel like I'm pestering or micromanaging his health. I'm starting to get really stressed on his behalf, and I don't know what to do. You tell him either you take your funky ass to the doctor and the dentist, or we're through here, sir. I'm not gonna be dealing with somebody who's got a yuck mouth, all kind of bacteria should be trying to kiss me. That's not gonna happen. I could end up with some kind of gangrene of the coochie or the mouth or some shit from you. I'm not doing that. And then you tell them as far as the other thing, I'm gonna get a life insurance policy on your ass and hope you croak so I can collect. That's what I'm gonna do. So, you need to do better. If you don't want to do better, just let me fuck know and I'm out. Because one thing I don't want to do is get with somebody who's going to be dying 5 years from now before he even hits 40. Idiot. Yeah. That's because your husband is a grown ass man. He don't even care if it's not even just his hygiene, it's his health, period. Because bad teeth. I mean, the infection goes into your heart. So you get up with, heart valve problems, need a valve replacement, stuff like that. Can really fuck you up. Your teeth and gums can fuck you up. So if I were you, I would tell him something like that, and then I would see what kind of insurance policy I could take out on his ass and hope that he croaks, so I could get paid. Question, and I'd tell him that too. Question number 11. This is a male 22 to 27 from Los Angeles area. It says, summary issue: how can I make my Chinese dad get a life? The summary might sound a bit harsh, but I honestly don't know how else to phrase it. There's a lot to unpack here, but here I go. Oh my God, dude. Really? Okay, well, it's only 2 pages. I can't handle it. I'm 21. My dad is 61-year-old immigrant who moved to California in the early 2000s. To this day, he hasn't learned much English, which has really limited his ability to do new things, even simple stuff like trying non Chinese restaurants. Over time, that's made him more closed off and unwilling to try anything new. He's naturally introverted, and his difficult personality and years of working tirelessly since coming here, he struggled to make friends. As a result, he doesn't have many hobbies or much of a social life. Now that he finally has more free time, I've been trying to get him to enjoy life a little more, to go out, meet people, or pick up a hobby. But whenever I suggest something, he says things like, there's just nothing to do here in America, or nothing interests me. I know those are excuses. I think it's hard for him because he can't read or speak English. So everything outside his comfort zone feels impossible. Still, it's tough watching him just fade into a routine. Some information that might be helpful to you: he doesn't have the best relationship with our family, my mom, my sister, and me. He wasn't really a great husband or father when I was growing up. He and my mom fought a lot because he spent so much time at the casino playing poker, which he insists isn't gambling because it takes skill and help him relieve stress, end quote. But back then, we were struggling financially, living in affordable housing, so it only made things worse. He also had a lot of anger issues and poor communication skills. He couldn't emphasize or see things how, from my mom's point of view, which led to constant fighting. My sister ended up developing lasting trauma from it, and I've always had a hard time talking to him too. That said, something changed earlier this year. We visited some old family friends, people who somehow have stuck by him despite knowing his flaws, and they had yet another intervention with him. This time it seemed to click. Around the same time, I broke down in front of him and told him how all of this affected me. I think that seeing me sob really got through to him because since then he's been trying to change a little by little. Honestly, I'm still conflicted. Writing this out all makes me realize how complicated it is. My dad isn't the best person, but he's still my dad. And I know he did what he could with what he had. I just want to help him find a way to give more meaningfully instead of wasting away any ideas you have are welcome. I'm going to say this in every way you say you in the Los Angeles area. Okay, that's a huge area, but in most of those communities in Southern California, they have a large Asian community, right? They have like the Asian Community Center. Take your narrow ass daddy over there and put him out the car. He needs to socialize with some people. I mean, they don't speak that much English because they're old like him. They don't speak that much English. But um, he can have conversations with them. He can play mahjong and play poker and dominoes and participate in the little cart, the little crafts and stuff they do, and play bingo and the little dances and the lunch that they give the seniors. He can do all that shit to get out the house and socialize with some people his own age that speak his language. You're just not thinking, I guess, because you're only 21 and you don't think about senior centers. But this is something that that he can do, and it'll be really good for him. Okay, so you put in a little effort. Find out where he can is someplace he can get to, like on a bus or, whatever, if you don't mind paying for him an Uber or maybe he drive, I don't know, to where he can go and sign his little ass up so he can go socialize over there with them people. Yeah, I know that's what he said, LA area. Hey, he obviously did not want me to know where he is, but um that's hundreds and hundreds of miles of area. So somewhere in there is someplace where you can take your daddy and them people will speak his language. Question number 12. This is female 22 to 27 from Washington, D.C. The male's also 22 to 27. Summer issue. My boyfriend makes me feel guilty for being tired after work and needing my own space. Hey, Deb. I'm 25. My boyfriend is 27, and we've been seeing each other since December of 24. Officially dating since March of 25. We get along very well, but since I started my first big girl job at a corporate law firm, a month ago, he's been making me feel like a shitty partner for being too occupied to give him the attention that he wants. Before I had this job, I only interned at some pretty lax law firms and public administration branches. So I had all the time and energy in the world to do my work and give him all the attention he desired. Now that I'm working full time in a more strict environment, I can't spend my whole day texting him. It's not like I ice him out 100%. I still talk to him throughout the day and engage in conversation whenever I can, but my responses are more spaced out than they were before. If that wasn't enough, I'm also studying for my bar exam and on my last semester of law school. So he knows very well how full my plate is right now, yet still makes constant comments about how quiet and distant I have been. No matter how many times we have this same talk, we have it again and again. I don't know how many times more I can go, yes, I still love you. No, I don't want to break up. I'm simply too tired to hop on the call every single night. Worst thing is that whenever I ask what I can do to be more present or to make him feel better, all he says is, I don't know. What? Though things are normal when we see each other on the weekends, I feel like having discussed the same topic so many times during the week has taken a great toll on our relationship. He is a great guy and I wanted to be with him, but I'm also an ambitious person who wants to climb the corporate ladder and help provide an amazing life for us both. I don't want to keep feeling this shitty about finally getting my career started. I really don't know what else to do. Please give me some advice. Well, this shit here is not going to last. I mean, as sad as it is, and really attached to this little boy, but you reach that age. How did you say you were? You 25? Yeah, he 27. You about to hit that Santa's return. You about to hit that Saturn's return, and you're going to be um, changing a lot. Changing men, changing your female friends, changing your environment, changing your expectations of others as well as yourself. You're going to be changing your needs. There's going to be a lot of stuff that's different. as you move into the age of 30. What's going to happen here? You're going to graduate from law school. You're going to pass the bar. You're going to get a job as an attorney. You're going to start hanging around with other attorneys. You're going to meet an attorney or a doctor or some CEO or something like that. And you're going to forget all about him. And that's what you should be doing. One thing you don't want to do is let this guy rain on your parade with his neediness. Because every second that you're doing, worrying about him and his feelings and his needs to be all up under you, that's time that you're not using to advance your career and yourself. So this is the time for you to be very selfish at only 25 years of age. Focus on yourself and focus on what you need to be doing for yourself and tell him that, you can only offer him time on the weekends. And if that's not good enough, then you guys need to break up. So, and it won't be like with animosity or anything. It's just that, you can see that he's unhappy just when the "it's not me, it's you" card gets played. You can see he's unhappy, but it'd be true though. He's unhappy and you feel really bad because this is a goal that you have. You've invested a lot of time and money in it. You're going to see it through. But for you seeing that through means that there's not going to be any time for him or this relationship. And you both just have to accept that. Talk to him like that, like all logical and stuff. And, fake a few tears and like, "Oh my God, it's so sad. I really love you though. I'm gonna miss you," and stuff like that. "But I have to do this. I have to do this. My whole family's depending on me. It's my career. It's been my dream." All that good old rigmarole. That's what you're gonna do. Question 13. This is a female, 20 to 34, from Virginia Beach, Virginia. Third issue. I broke up with my boyfriend of 2 years, and this is why. Oh, you gonna share? My boyfriend of 2 years recently said he forgot to bring our anniversary gift with him. I said that was fine and proceeded to give him his. Yesterday, he greeted me with my anniversary gift, which was a travel size toothpaste, toothbrush, hairspray, a Target gift card, scratchers, and a mug. Wait, what? A travel size toothbrush and toothpaste. A Target gift card. I wonder how much was the card? You didn't say. By no means am I expecting something expensive, but at least something that he could have put more effort into. His excuse was he doesn't know my style. He also kept getting me flowers that he knows I don't like because I have communicated that to him before. I was so upset, but I need to know, did I overreact by breaking up with him? What would you have done, Deb? Oh, I would have broke up with him. I would have broke up with him by the time he brought me flowers the second time after I told him I don't like those flowers. Because see, what that means is he's not listening to you. What's important to you, your preferences and the things that you like and that bring you joy. He does not compute, he's not interested because otherwise he would pay attention to that. So see, me being the person that I am, I understand what those kind of behaviors mean. And so I would have broke up with him a long time ago. We wouldn't have got to the second anniversary. We would have got to the second time you bring me some fucked up flowers. And I done told you I don't like those. What are you doing? Why are you doing this? See, and then we try to think about why they do it. There's no justification for it. So you did something good. You broke up with them. It's good. It's 2 years, but it's not 2 years and one more day. So you did good. Question 14 of 25. This is a female, 20 to 34 age group from Portland, Oregon. The male is also 20 to 34. Summary of issue. My boyfriend keeps saying, quote, "have fun on your date," end quote, whenever I leave the house. How do I get him to stop? You get a new boyfriend. Is this like rocket science? Why would you be with somebody who's going to insult you like that? That shit might have been funny the first time, but it's not funny after that. Let's see what this clown is doing. Almost every time I leave the house, my boyfriend says something like, "have fun on your date." Sometimes he'll even text it to me after I've gone. There's absolutely no reason for him to think that I'd be seeing anyone else. Nothing's ever happened that would make him suspicious. He just says these things out of nowhere. I find it really disrespectful and gross. See? But yet you stay. I've never cheated. I've never given him a reason to doubt me. And I don't even have anyone else in my life I could go on a date with. We've lived together almost the entire year we've been dating. He didn't used to say things like this, but now they're constantly making passive aggressive comments. If I'm on my phone, like, quote, "if you want to talk to someone else, just do it," end quote. Or, quote, "you don't have to hide that you're talking to another guy." Oh, wow. That would be irritating as hell. I've told him how many times that is offensive and damaging these comments are, but he doesn't seem to care. He seems to truly believe that what he is doing is somehow harmless. My respect for him is slipping every time he does it. I'm honestly at the point where if we didn't live together, I would have already broken up with him. Unfortunately, it's not going to be easy to separate from him at this point for a while due to financial reasons. How should I handle this behavior when he refuses to take it seriously? Also, how can I articulate the reason why this feels so gross? I'm struggling to find the words. You don't need to find the words. You already said it. See, this is the thing that drives me crazy. How many times do you think you need to say it? You think you need to say it in Chinese? Romanian? What is it that you think you need to do differently than what you've already been doing? He understands very well. He just don't give a shit. That's the part you haven't accepted. Okay? Your top priority right now is to figure out how to get the fuck up out that house. Do you need a second job? Can you borrow some money for a deposit or whatever? I mean, think about it. What can you do to move out of there and just maybe rent a room with somebody else in their house or something? I don't know what to do to tell you. But you got to start putting your thinking cap on because this is stupid. This is the kind of thing where you feel attacked all the time. Like, obviously he don't trust you. And so, then my suspicious mind is you always accusing me of cheating. What's you doing? Because I mean, I hate to say it, but usually that's a smoke cloud. They try to put all this smoke up to try to keep you on the defensive when they're really the ones cheating, but they don't want you to turn that mirror around and do the reverse Uno so that, you're focusing on what they're doing. You could say that, drop that look too. But first of all, the main thing, like before you do anything, don't say anything because you already said everything. He already understands. He already knows. What you got to do is put the things in place for you to find a place to move. And then you're going to do that. That's what you're going to do. Question number 15. This is a young lady, 20 to 34 from Montreal, Canada. The male's 42 to 49. Summer issue. I found a comment that my fiance made on a post that revealed how he views marriage. Now I'm having second thoughts. I'm 34 and engaged to a 49-year-old male. I found that he posted a comment on a thread about a famous athlete's wedding saying, "Can I get a copy of the prenup in case I ever marry? Because that shit must be legal. Ad medium? Is that a drug? I don't know what this is. We've been together a year, but engaged a few months. He's divorced with kids from that previous marriage. Now the comment is a bit old, I have to admit, but I'm still horrified and this changes how I view him, and now I'm thinking of calling off the wedding. He's been talking about prenups and how I need to get an attorney. My philosophy is that prenup should be collaborative, not adversarial, and protect both parties. Yet the language he's been using every time we talk about it sounds like he just cares about protecting himself. I'm really turned off now, and I don't really want to go through with it. So I'm wondering, how do I navigate this? I'm so grossed out because everything I should be. I'm so grossed out because of everything. I should be on the one receiving more legal protections from him, not the other way around. It's giving me that he thinks he's the prize vibes, and I'm disgusted. Well, I mean, he's worried about losing his little loot. The best thing you could do in a situation like this is sign a prenup that keeps everything from now and in the future separate. You want to do that because if you're young, you're younger than him. So you haven't even hit your peak wage earning capacity yet. He's at he's right there in his. So, at 42 to 49, he might get a little bit more money, but the promotions and the advancement that he's going to have has already happened. So this is pretty much it. He's hit the ceiling, maybe a little 20 or $30,000 a year more, but that's iffy. You, on the other hand, 28, you got a lot of, you know, you got a lot of growth over the next couple of decades. So at some point, you're going to outpace him, right? So you wanna have a prenup. So when you start getting a whole bunch of stuff and your salary goes and quadruples over his and stuff like that, he won't be able to touch it. He won't get none of it. It'll be his own fault because he didn't, he wanted to protect himself. So by protecting himself, he's also protecting you. And the reason why you don't have the same attorney is that's called a conflict of interest. You have an attorney negotiate a contract for you. You cannot do it collaboratively like you imagine. Your little mind over there fantasizing. You are in adversarial position from him. He's gonna be trying to keep his shit, and you're gonna be trying to keep your shit. He's trying to keep you from getting his shit, and vice versa. So you can't do that together. Your attorney's gonna be working for your best interest. His attorney's gonna be working for his best interest, and then they're gonna come together and work out a compromise. That's how they do it. Okay. So I don't know what else to tell you. Oh, excuse me. This time change. I'm still messed up, y'all. I just can't get with it. Let's move on to question number 16. She's 35 to 41 from Liverpool, England. How do I tell my recently widowed mom that I can't spend an hour or two on the phone with her every day? My mom is 65 and she got in the habit of calling me every morning on the way to work when my dad was sick. And we would usually talk about his health and it would only last 15 minutes or so. So I didn't really mind. Plus, I wanted to be there for her. Well, ever since he died last year, she started calling me in the morning on the way home for lunch. And we talk all the way through her lunch break and back to work, sometimes even continuing while back in the office. If I don't pick up the call, she calls 5 to 7 times in a row and gets annoyed. Deb, I have 3 kids and a husband. 2 of my kids are in school, and I'm home alone with a newborn all day. So there's literally no quote reason I can't talk to her. And she knows that. She doesn't do it at night because she knows I have a family. But during the day, I feel like it's free game because I don't work. I know she's lonely and struggling without my dad. But at the same time, I can't keep having the same mundane conversation with her about her pets, her work, and her lawn every day. Sometimes I literally just want to enjoy the silence. I have 2 siblings who work but also don't have children, who she talks to maybe once a week. How do I handle this without hurting her feelings or our relationship? She's just starting to see a grief therapist, by the way. She also is a candidate for the senior center, local senior center. I don't know what they have in Liverpool, England. I can't tell you that, but they always have organizations and places and clubs and things where seniors gather. And that's where you need to direct her. She needs some friends. She's lonely. She's used to being around your daddy and probably burning his ear off. Man, the man had to escape to get away from her chatter. You can tell her that too, but don't tell her that. She's not mean. She's just needy. So, just like, Mom, I can't do this for you. I've tried to be there as best for you as best I can, but I can't be there for you the way that you seem to want me to. And it's gonna end up as a disaster because I'm gonna start feeling resentful and I'm not gonna be able to do what I need to do with my new baby and for my house and my husband and my kids. The things I'm supposed to do during the middle of the day. I can't be on the phone with you like this. So I'm going to make a suggestion. I found that they have this club, this location, this whatever it is, this center, and there are people there your age. There are people there that have your same hobbies and interests, and there are people there that you can talk to. They'd be welcome your company. So I want you to start going over there at least a few times a week and see what she says. But again, the groundwork is going to be on you. If you need help finding a place, I'm sure they have some kind of social services office and stuff over there in Liverpool, England, and just tell them what you need. I want to find a place so my mama can have some company. That ain't me. That's what you need. Let's move on. She want to talk about her work and her lawn and what else did you say? Her pets. Ooh, that would make me feel crazy. Question number 7. This is 17 rather. This is a female, 28 to 34 from Denver. Serve issue. I need relationship advice. I've had termination trauma. Okay. I have some water. Yes. Hold on a second. This is going to be a long one. This is going to be intense. Oh, where's my glass? Oh, no. I guess I left it in the kitchen. Ah, hold on. Okay. To wet my throat. These people are making me talk too much. All right, let's see what she got. Some termination trauma. I'm 28. I recently went through something incredibly painful and confusing. My fiance is 25. Okay, what you doing a guy 3 years younger in your 20s? We've been together for a year and a half, engaged for 2 months, and we live together. During our holiday, I found out I was pregnant. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do at first. He said he'd support me no matter what I chose, but made it clear he didn't think we should keep it because of financial struggles and our age, mostly his. Eventually, and with much emotional pain, I decided not to keep the baby. It was heartbreaking, but I tried to stay strong. A few days before the scheduled termination, he told me that he wanted to go out drinking with his friends. I told him I really needed him to stay home and be with me, but he didn't care. During this time, I was also physically unwell. I was constantly nauseous, vomiting a lot, everything hurt, and I could barely leave the house. On top of that, my grandmother was dying, and we knew her time was coming. Emotionally, I was completely drained. I felt like I was collapsing from every direction. I just desperately needed some support. That same day, my grandmother passed away. Despite all of this, he still went out. I felt completely alone. At one point, I messaged his friends and said something like, "You're lucky to have a friend who makes time for you," while his pregnant fiance is suffering physically, emotionally, and just lost her grandmother. When he found out, he just laughed at me and said I was ridiculous. He showed no empathy at all. So you messaged his friends and you said some sarcastic, backstabbing, undermining shit like that to his friends. Okay. He showed no empathy. Lucky he didn't cuss you out. I felt like nothing I said or did could reach him emotionally, like I had no impact on him at all. I was angry and hurt, but eventually I just cried myself to sleep. Fucking drama queen. Later, I woke up to a missed call from him that he was still out at the bar. I called him back and he asked, "How are you?" And I said, "How do you think I am? I'm pregnant. I feel sick. I'm having a termination in 2 days, and my grandma just died. How do you think I feel?" His response was, "Well, unless you need to go to the hospital, I'm staying at the bar." That moment shattered me. Dude is a savage. I hung up on him. I felt so alone, so overwhelmed, and probably under the influence of hormones. I drove to the bar where he was, gave him his car keys and his stuff, and told him that I was done. He laughed in my face and told me I was pathetic and ridiculous, and said he never wanted to see me again. I ended up crying in the taxi home. He did not say, "Let's go home," or "I understand this is hard." Later that night, he came home and started berating me again, saying everyone thinks I'm crazy, I'm embarrassing, I'm pathetic. I was tired. I just wanted to go to sleep. Okay, she's going on and on. And she's talking about, so she stayed at a friend's house on the days up to the termination. During the termination and after, he was barely present. He said he wouldn't leave me alone because we did this together, but I never really felt supported. I wrote down my feelings about the day of the termination, how painful it was, and how humiliating. And his response was, "I understand why you're mourning. It wasn't even a child. A child only exists once it's born." That crushed me. I'm not even sure what I want to hear today. Maybe just perspective. Do you think I was expecting too much from him? Yep, you sure were. First of all, he's a 25-year-old kid. Okay, you 28, which is young and bad enough, but he's a 25-year-old male. They have about the sense of a gnat, the maturity of a caterpillar. Okay, of course, I'm making generalizations. I don't want nobody to say, "Well, I'm not like that." Fuck you. Nobody cares. I'm not talking about you. Okay, we're talking about in general. As you look around the world, 25-year-old men are not movers and shakers, and they're not like making real conscious and positive, mature decisions about anything. Okay, so saying all of that, do and plus he's not your husband. He's just your baby daddy. I'm wondering why you and especially he told you he would support the decision you made, but he wasn't really showing you that much interest. Like he wasn't really like, asking questions about it. He wasn't, seemingly upset about it. And that he didn't show you didn't communicate that he had any of those kind of emotions, which would be someone who I would think would have to be showing that he had feelings about this in order to, to be able to step up and show you all this kind of support. He didn't give a shit. I'm sure his drinking was his way of escaping his feelings, though, even though, he was trying to damp them down and act like he didn't have any. I'm sure he did have some, but they weren't the feelings that you wanted him to have. It's most likely he was feeling confusion, probably some guilt, um, you know, wondering how the impact of what this situation is going to be on the two of you, those kind of things. That's what he was worried about. But I'm going to say this. I think that you are acting a bit immature here. It's I mean, it's done. I mean, you made a decision, own it, right? You the one, you made a decision to sleep with the dude. Whatever BC y'all was using that wasn't sufficient. And then you made a decision that you was gonna get a termination. So Why are you mad at him? I mean, and I would have liked you to tell me, to communicate to me, what is all the support that you're looking for? He's not a doctor, he's not a nurse, he's not your husband, he's not your parents. What kind of support were you expecting him, a 25-year-old kid, to give you? As he has to wrestle with his own emotions about the whole situation. So, all in all, I'm not understanding where you're coming from. Usually I could at least halfway see where people are coming from. In your case, I just get a big fat zero. I don't understand nothing that's going on with you and all this drama and everything. See, to me, people who have all this drama about getting termination should be on every kind of birth control there has. Your shit should be airtight. You should have the most efficient thing and plus a backup every time any man touches you. But if you don't do that, and then you want to come around talking, well, I'm sensitive. I don't believe in it. I just, it's bothering me that I need to get a termination. You are doing all them kind of things. You talking about both sides of your neck. If you're really scared of those kind of things, and you really had that kind of respect for life, you wouldn't have been handling yourself the way that you did. You create a situation where you could get pregnant, and then now you want to cry wolf about it, like it's his fault. So I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. Let's move on to question number 18. She's 22 to 27 from I think that's Litchfield in the UK. Summer issue. I got a piercing and now my partner whines how little I value his opinion. I'm 24, he's 29, and we've been together for close to 5 years. I was a very outgoing person in how I present myself. Well, I am a very tattoos, colorful clothes, statement piece jewelry, etc. He, on the contrary, is rather conservative, but never has been anything but supportive of me. Over the years, we've had small arguments here and there about dress codes and whatnot, but that was easily resolved. Now I've been thinking about getting a labret's piercing, that's a lip piercing, for close to half a year. I talked to him about it. That's that little hoop that the people be having on the side of their face over there. That don't even look cute to me. He hated the idea. We sat down and I told him that I was planning on getting one, and he told me he didn't want me to mutilate my face. Well, today I got my piercing after hearing him out and telling him that I still wanted one. Before I left for the piercer, he told me, "Your journey, ma'am." Now I came back and we had this long conversation where he revealed that he felt I don't value his opinion. He brought up how he was the main provider, true, and how therefore he would feel more appreciated if I took his opinions into consideration. I usually do, but from the start we have established that he doesn't get to tell me what I do with my own body. The same Z's goes for me. I am so angry at him about this. Yes, I heard his opinion, but I didn't let it change my decision. Am I the selfish asshole here who should not have gotten a piercing because he disliked it? Why would he expect me to forego my own bodily autonomy for his opinion? For what it's worth, I think the labret looks fantastic on me. I think, okay, am I pronouncing that word right? I don't know. I always just call it a hoop in the lip. But I didn't even know it had a real word. Um, I am with you. I think that, what you do with your body is not hurting him in any way, shape, or form, then he shouldn't have anything to say about it, right? That's my opinion. I mean, plus they're not permanent. I mean, you could take them out. So if you have to go to something super formal with him and stuff, you could always take it out and put it back in later after the event is over. Let's move on. Question 19. She's 28 to 34 from Toronto. Same issue. I was wondering if I messed up too much confronting my boss after she called me, quote, too emotional, end quote, for tearing up at work. I'm 32 and I work in healthcare. Last week, a long-term patient that I'd been helping passed away. It hit me hard. I tried to stay composed, but I got teary-eyed at the nurse's station. My boss pulled me aside and said, "You can't cry here. It makes patients uncomfortable. You're too emotional for this line of work." I told her compassion isn't weakness, and if I stop feeling, I shouldn't be on the job. She told me to check my attitude. Later, HR called me in to, quote, discuss professionalism. Now I'm wondering if I overstepped by defending myself. Did I do the right thing by speaking up for myself when I was criticized? Absolutely. I mean, you didn't call her any names or anything. You just pointed out a different way to think about the situation. I don't have a problem with it. I think you did good. Professionalism. I don't know, to me, nurses, the kind of people that are nurses, more so than doctors, the kind of people that are nurses are the kind that have a high sense of empathy. Um, they care. They want to help you. They want you to feel better. They want you to recover. They want to make your hospital stay as comfortable and as friendly as as they can. They go out of their way to do those kind of things for people. So I'm trying to see why, why you obviously a good nurse because you care. So why would they expect you to stop being a good nurse just because it's inconvenient for them? And I hope you have a union. That's all I'm gonna say. Question number 20 of 25. We got 25 questions today. This young lady is 28 to 34 from Pomona, California. The male is 28 to 34 as well. I need advice on figuring out if the man I'm dating is dangerous or not. I'm 29 and we started going out with the 28-year-old guy I met on Swipey Thing about 2 months ago. He's been very kind and a gentleman, which is something I found extremely attractive at first, especially after coming after a rough off of a race dating history. He is from a different country, so there are language barriers at times, but his English is pretty natural to me. He insists on paying for all of our dates every time I offer to go Dutch. I recently took a trip for my birthday out of the country with my best friend, and he insisted on dropping us both off and picking us both up. It was extremely nice of him, especially considering my friend lived an hour away from me. He also gave me $100, which I definitely wasn't expecting. He brings her food, okay. So she started thinking about some of the red flags that she had, and here are some of them. Here are the red flags. Red flag number one. I watched too much true crime, but this one comment made me freak the fuck out. We're laying in bed one night after some fun, just chatting. He lifted my arm up and started stroking it, randomly just saying, I want to cut off the muscle on, on your arm, fry it and eat it. Okay. Hell no. I freaked out and asked him why he said that. He then laughed it off and said it was a joke. I was way too tired and had work in the morning, so I brushed it off after repeatedly clarifying that he was joking. You went to sleep after somebody just talked about taking a muscle off your arm, frying it, and making it into a hors d'oeuvre? And you later then went to sleep with. I would have been I deuced out of there so fast. He would have seen. I've been like, remember how in Road Runner, yeah, he would go beep beep, and then his legs would make like that smoke circle. They would be moving so fast. That would be me. That'd be me. Beep beep. I'm the fuck up out of here. We're not doing this. Wow. So there's more. She got another one, y'all. Red flag number two. Tonight he texted me to ask if he could come over to my place after work. I haven't seen him in a while, so I agreed, but joked that I may be a bit tired. He replies back, you can either leave the keys with me or give me the passcode. And I can't promise you that I will not make advances on you while you're asleep. This creeped me out, and I haven't responded. I don't know if he's trying to be funny or if I'm just too sensitive. What I think is his sexy talk is strange as fuck. I don't know if it's a translation issue or a language barrier, but now I'm low key confused. In person, he's great, sans the arm thing. But I don't know, something just feels off to me. I may just be feeling a bit paranoid. What do you think? I think that you should pay attention to uh your warning signs. Your body is telling you that something is this is a problem here. This is a problem. Okay, what most women do is just what you're doing right here is second guessing yourself, doubting yourself, and making it seem like you're wrong and stupid and crazy for even thinking such things instead of tuning in to your inner knowing that your body's trying to tell you that this is a dangerous situation, but you don't want to listen because you're trying to be nice, right? I'm going to suggest that you figure, yeah, the gift of fear, Gavin DeBecker. I'm going to suggest that you seriously consider ending this relationship and tell him why. Say, I know you keep saying that you thought it was a joke, but I'm telling you, I can't take it as one because it's not funny. I mean, what you're talking about there is disfiguring and possibly killing me. And you think that I'm supposed to laugh about it. So I'm done here. I don't like this kind of feeling that I'm getting of this confusion and wondering if you're going to kill me in my sleep or some shit. And don't, whatever you do, don't deliver this message in person. Okay, you do this over the phone. You do this in, yeah, you do this over the phone so that he's nowhere around you when you tell him. This is crazy. This is insane. Question 21. Female 20 to 34 from Boston, Massachusetts. Serve issue. I think the dating apps are full of people that need serious help. Well, I could have told you that. This is mostly a rant. I've been on the apps for 3 years. I haven't been in anything long term and use them just to talk to people and only go forward if they seem cool. The majority have a lot of issues. The moment something seems off, I stop talking to them. That's why I'm perpetually single. I value my own mental peace too much. I matched with I matched with one guy who I talk to occasionally. We decided not to date as he's 3 years younger than me, and our timeline for marriage is incompatible. But last night when I called him, he was crying. Wait. Dude was crying. He was crying about how he broke up with his ex 8 months ago and how she was his soulmate. Wow. I asked him why he broke up with her if they were soulmates. He said that she was a lot older than him and had a kid. But then he kept going on and on about how special they were and no one has ever loved him the way that she did. I told him to get off the apps and get therapy. He obviously said no. He prefers to drink himself to sleep every night. Okay, well, that's his red wagon. This guy is in accounting at a big four firm and teaches investing on the side. Yet his emotional intelligence is worse than that of a 5-year old. I am so confused, honestly. People on the apps are so messy. I felt emotionally exhausted after that conversation. I deleted his number in all the dating apps. Obviously, there are normal people on the apps too, but it's like looking for a needle in a haystack. Yeah, because I'm sure they saying the same thing about your ass. You crazy too. But I'm gonna say this. I've always said that the people on those apps aren't wrapped too tight. I mean, everybody who I've ever known who decided to use the apps had some kind of personality issues or mental or emotional problems. Sorry. It's just not to say they can't function like in a job and go to school and get a degree and all, so they can do all of those things. He does. The problem comes out in their interpersonal relationships, where it's one on one, and they have to be, develop emotional intimacy and be supportive and committed and loyal and all these kinds. They can't do it. Can't do it. So I don't really know what your future holds for you if you don't use a dating app, but you can already see that this is not working. So you need to do something different. Let's move on. Question number 22. Oh, unless I lost the page, it's only 24 questions. It said 25. Well, let's see what's going on here. Um, this is a young man, 22 to 27, from San Luis Obispo, California. So I have an issue. How do I tell my roommate and friend that I don't want to be his roommate anymore when our lease ends? We're both in our final year of grad school in the same program with pretty much the same group of friends. In short, he drains my energy. He's extremely insecure to the point where he's often insufferable to be around. For example, he blatantly lies and tries to intimidate other people. Like he'll tell you to shut the fuck up or interrupt to listen to me, or I have a really bad temper, or quote, I beat someone up before, end quote. I understand why he's so insecure because every girl he's ever liked has turned him down. He doesn't have a job while the rest of us in the friend group do. Well, he did have a job, but he got fired for not showing up. Well, that means he didn't want a job. I just overall don't have his life together. Think he doesn't have his life together. Okay, let me see why is this page sticking? He was at a phase where he was getting drunk by himself in the middle of the school week Although he has stopped doing that, he's talking about himself, his life, and wants friends who are really close and really loyal. To be honest, I have already have friends like that from my previous college and high school, and I don't want to be that tight with him at all, given the size of him that he's been displaying. He has even said several times, quote, everyone ends up abandoning me when talking about his friendships. I do feel kind of bad for dude, but I have a busy life with school and work already and family issues I won't get into that make my life stressful. I don't have time for his bullshit. I've told him before that he should go get therapy and he agreed, but he never got around to doing it. There's a good chance that either one of us will move out of our current city where we graduate, but we are both trying to stay here. I didn't know how he turned up like this. We knew each other like for a year before we started living together. I just don't ever see that side of him. Well, I'm gonna say this, you didn't really know who dude was. You were dealing with his representative, as we call it. You were dealing with his representative, and now you're getting to see the real person, and you don't like what you're seeing. I don't know what to tell you. It is what it is. But oh, so that's right. You wanted to find out. I'm sorry, the first question was in the front. You wanted to know how to tell him that you're going to move out. You're just gonna say that. It's like I want to, I want to live alone for a while because it'll probably be my last chance because I went from my parents to living with roommates to living, I want to live alone for a while before I decide to settle down and get married or something. So at the end of our lease, I'm going to, go do that. And he's going to say, oh, I didn't know you want to get married. And you're gonna say, yes. I mean, it's on my agenda. It's not I'm gonna do it right away, but I need to start preparing myself for it and getting myself mentally and emotionally prepared for that kind of lifestyle. But before I do, I would really like to live just by myself just to experience that. It's probably my only chance to do it. Because after that I'll be married, have kids, screaming brats, and mother-in-laws and stuff. So you can make it like a joke, but bottom line is you about to do some fuck out from dude and go do something different. But I think that's a very good cover story and it's realistic and very plausible. Let's move on. Question number 23. This young lady's 22 to 27 from West Palm Beach, Florida. Term issue dealing with a breakup. Hello, squad. My boyfriend and I broke up 3 weeks ago. We were in a relationship for over a year and a half. But we broke up because we had a fight about some boundaries I set. He didn't respect them. I was so mad I stopped talking to him, and he did the same. I kept waiting for him to reach out, but he never did. He never apologized. I waited for him to show up for 2 weeks every day, but there was no sign of him. I ended up blocking him on social media because I kept checking his pages all the time, and I felt that wasn't healthy for me. But I didn't block his number, just in case he wanted to reach out. Now it's been 3 weeks, and while scrolling on Facebook, a page popped up in my suggestions. It was under his name and a picture. It turned out to be his new page, and he was following a bunch of girls. The whole list was girls. The page was created only a week ago. I feel dumb because I still haven't accepted the fact that we broke up while he's already able to talk to other girls. Okay, so what's the question here? Why are you writing? I think this is the one that you said it was a rant. No, you broke up because he had a fight about some boundaries and he didn't respect them. So, I mean, don't you think he knows that? He knows that he didn't respect you already? What is it that you think he's supposed to learn now that you're back, right? How is he supposed to learn that you mean what you say if you go back to him? So I'm just gonna, keep going the direction that you're going and just leave him alone. He's not going to give you what you want. That's why you blocked him. Okay, just accept it. Move on. And the final question of today is from a young man, 20 to 34, from Memphis. Summer issue. I refused to help pay for my brother's wedding, and now my family is pissed at me. My parents keep asking me to chip in for my brother's wedding since I have a steady job. The thing is, my brother has never invited me to his engagement party, has barely spoken to me for almost 10 years. When I said no, he called me cold and said family means helping if you are not close. I told him that he could not ignore me for years and ask for my money, $5,000. Am I a bad brother for refusing to contribute? Nope. He's a bad brother for asking you. when he doesn't even want to talk to you. He can't even be bothered to communicate with you, but he wants your money. That's what the letter said, that you haven't talked in almost 10 years, and he only focuses on money. So you tell him, best wishes for a happy marriage and all that. I don't wish anything bad to happen to you, but I'm not going to be there. Neither am I going to give a dime of my money to help fund it. So you do with that information what you will, and I'll see you next lifetime. Okay? Okay. Deuces. That's what you do. Yeah, if you notice, Devonda, this is the theme. Well, maybe you weren't here, but this is the overwhelming theme for tonight. These people who wrote in, they need to go their own way because they just involved in some monkey shines where the people are disrespecting them up the yin yang. I mean, like major disrespect, this astonishing disrespect that these women are accepting and trying to stay in these relationships. I just don't get it. I don't get it because if I don't feel like I'm a queen and that you like, yeah, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah to me, and that you just are mesmerized with my wonderfulness, then there's no point in me staying here. That's all the Leo talking. We like that shit in our relationships. Not too much. I mean, don't be trying to put me in a cage. But if you're gonna be here, you may as well like being here. I mean, who wants to be in a relationship with somebody who just tolerates them? I want to be celebrated. Okay, not tolerated. So I think it's a big difference between, what I would like to see for these young women versus what they're experiencing and what they're accepting. They're not, they haven't experienced anybody celebrating them. I think it sounds like, because they're so young, it's probably there's something they've never experienced yet. And so they go to these relationships with these dudes where they're just being tolerated and not even kindly. So it's very sad. But anyway, yeah, everybody's packing, everybody's winding up for Thanksgiving. Like, I've been experimenting making bean pies. 'Cause I'm sick of sweet potato pies, so I want to make something different. So I'm on my like third iteration. I've been trying different little seasoning blends, trying to get the taste just right. You can't take it taste like the brothers that be selling on the corner with the bow ties on. I just don't know how they do that. And then I don't know what they put in it, but I'm still working on it. I'm gonna figure it out. I'm not gonna give up until I get the taste right or better. I don't know what she really should be trying to filing a police report on him. But he's gonna say, well, I was just joking. But I mean, who says something like that as a joke? It's so specific. It's so, silence of the lambish. I just I just cannot with these people. I don't know what she's thinking. But anyway, you guys have a good time. I will try to get myself in here on Sunday. Make sure you hit the subscription button with the instant notification because otherwise you won't know when I decide to hit that record button and go live and actually do a show. All right. See you soon.